Let me tell you guys a story. During high school, I've not always been the nicest guy. I was cynical, critical, and always confronting people with what I thought of them. So obviously, I only have one friend left from high school.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
This guy was and is to this day still my best friend. And if you're friends for that long, eventually you're going to be very similar to each other. This guy is also cynical and always having discussions about basically everything. But he's still my best friend, so Yannick, in case you're watching this, f you. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I intend to maintain this friendship properly. But what can two friends even do during a lockdown? What is fun if you're both critical, cynical, but still kinda smart, if I may say so myself? Well, welcome to Escape Room Games, a small series where I will review some of the best and worst escape room games on Steam. Today we're looking at Tales of Escape. And is this a good or a bad escape room game? Well, more to come soon, I hope not. Tales of Escape is an escape room game which consists of 1 free level and 4 DLC levels. The goal is to escape whatever room you're in using mostly keys and keypads. You find the codes for these keypads by solving puzzles. Keys will sometimes lay around in the level or are found in a chest, which again is opened then by you entering the correct code on the keypad. Sometimes you can interact with other objects in the room, but this is mostly very limited. So let me get straight to the point about this game. This game sucks. I'm sorry, I've looked at it from every possible angle, but this game is just plain bad. And I'll tell you why. But first, let us take a look at real-life escape rooms, what makes them good. For this I've consulted a selection of online sources, and all of them seem to address these following points. A good escape room should have a good sequence of well-designed puzzles. This is that the puzzles themselves are good, make sense, and have a logical flow in them. Solving one puzzle should give you a clear indication of what you should do next. Secondly, a fitting and dramatic setting. Setting a scene or story motivates people to be more engaged with the room. The setting, escape from your room when you were a teenager, is a lot less exciting than having to prevent a nuclear disaster, for example. And lastly, a good escape room has a sense of narrative flow. The puzzles and the story should be intertwined. I don't know why I did this with my hands, but okay, you get the point. If we go back to the example of preventing a nuclear disaster, the puzzles should give you an indication of how close you are to preventing the disaster. A logical story here would be that you first have to enter a room, find a code book, and then use that to disarm the nuke. It would be really odd if the first puzzle was to disarm the nuke and the rest of the escape room was just to escape the building. Okay, so let's use that knowledge to reflect on Tales of Escape. Let's start with, in my opinion, the most important aspect of a good escape room game, which are the puzzles. The puzzles in this game are bad, incoherent, monotonous, and tedious. The majority of the puzzles is enter the correct code on the keypad. Bruh. Okay, I know what you're gonna say.
But some keypads have arrows on them, it's not really like you're entering a code.
I mean, come on, that still doesn't count. I mean, even the top screen displays numbers. Sometimes you can interact with the environment to solve a puzzle. You can click on a lamp or have to place dolls in the correct order. But still, that is a bit of a sad selection of puzzles. But okay, that is just the form of the puzzles. What about the quality of the puzzles? Do the puzzles make sense? Well, yes and no. Sometimes puzzles are so easy that you're questioning reality itself and you're thinking, am I playing a kid's game right now? It's connected to this thing. Oh, and then this, and then this.
There's an air compressor here. Yeah,
oh, okay, and that wasn't.
Oh wow,
Hey.
okay.
That was easy.
Nicely done.
And sometimes puzzles are so strange and arbitrary that even when you read the solution, you still wonder, why is this the solution?
Alright, gotta take another hint. Find the locations on the map, check the numbers with the same color in the lockers and use them ascending to get to...
Huh? Okay, so we have...
But it's double 8. Why would that be?
So you have yellow, blue and green?
I don't get it. Still don't fucking get it.
Doesn't make any sense. It's just fucking stupid. And believe me, you're gonna have a bunch of situations where you have no idea what to do next. And when you finally do find out what to do, the solution is just one big disappointment. 1, 2.
But I mean, how would you ever get the idea that you have to...
Yeah, and you know what also happens? Apparently this light bulb just starts floating. And then there is that one puzzle that really annoyed me. One where you have to find a sequence of numbers, again to be entered on a keypad. You would expect me, a graduate in mathematics, to be quite handy with numbers, wouldn't you say? It shouldn't be that difficult for me to solve a question about a sequence of numbers. But still, it took me quite some time to find the solution. I found it by a tiny bit of logic and a whole bunch of trial and error. And hey, if you have time to write this all down and to find the solution, then this is a good puzzle. But this is an escape room. It should make sense within the context of that particular room. With this puzzle, you could have just taken it from this room, placed it in a completely different room, and it wouldn't have made any more sense. And what if you're not that good with numbers? How are you then supposed to escape this room? Okay, but let's just move on to something else. A fitting dramatic setting. There are a lot of different settings in all the levels. For example, there is a butchery, a mine, and a mansion. But what I don't get is why do all these levels have to have a scary theme around them? It's not just butchery, mine, mansion. It's scary butchery, scary mine, and scary mansion. I get that you want to add some tension to your game, but that can also be achieved in other ways. Like the example I mentioned before, where you have to prevent a nuclear disaster. But this scary something setting, is that at least done right? Have they achieved a really spooky escape room setting? No. Okay, let's discuss the mine level. Yes, it is creepy at first. The bats that probably won't scare you did scare me when they flew towards me in this level. You first.
You're the one streaming, so...
I'm not streaming anything.
No.
Okay, let's both go together.
Let's go together. Light bulb?
Okay. Why did that scare me? And there is a semi-jump scare-ish painting that changes when you interact with it and which plays a loud sound. But when you sink your teeth into it, this is not really scary. This is just a very cheap way to scare someone. And after a while, you just keep messing with it because it's just an annoying loud sound you hear. Oh. Oh, that's not too scary. It's just the sound that is annoying. What did I find? I
so
found...
far, so good.
Fuck off.
Sorry.
Later on in the level, you see this pair of arms sticking out that apparently can't grab you. And what the hell is this skeleton doing here? It's just standing here doing nothing. What? What? But let's leave Mr. Skeleton alone for now. I'll come back to this later. Okay, a second example. You're in an insane asylum. At first the background noises are kinda creepy, but after a while it just gets really, really, really annoying.
Oh, there's fucking sounds here. Jesus, this is not very cozy.
No. This is very annoying even. Water.
Water. Yeah, I know you want water. Shut the fuck up, man.
That was another thing this game does not seem to get right. So let's quickly move on to our last point. An escape room should have a sense of narrative flow. As I said before, I interpret this as that the puzzles should flow into each other in a logical way. After you finish a puzzle, it should make sense what to do next, and it should fit in terms of the story. This is also something that is not present in this game. Remember Mr. Skeleton from earlier? Apparently you have to give him a set of arms, and then he gives you a sledgehammer. Okay, makes sense to me. But seriously, a skeleton in the middle of a room used to hand you a hammer? That just doesn't make sense story-wise. And it's not just specific thematic mismatches, some levels miss consistency entirely. There's one level that starts in an insane asylum, which then takes you to space, and then to a creepy room with dolls. What? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. The setting in general can be a bit odd. Levels do start with a small description, but most of the time you'll still be wondering, okay, who am I and what the hell am I doing here? There are letters scattered through the level, probably to paint a picture of the story, But there isn't really time to read those, is there? In all rooms, you're either rushed by the time limit or by what was written in the description of the level. Context or story is information that should be given to you either before you start the room or during play. The story should tell itself. It shouldn't be something that you have to read and carefully decipher yourself. But enough about comparing this to real escape rooms, because this is a video game after all. So how well does it stand as a video game? You probably have already seen this in the footage, but this is not a video game beauty. The player models look like someone thought, yeah, you think I'm seriously going to design a character? You must be joking. Furthermore, player models move stiffly, and controls in general can be a bit strange. You can pick up items and rotate them, but if you want to lay them down in a particular way, you're fucked, because the controls are way too imprecise to do that. The levels themselves look okay, but the lighting can be a bit of an annoyance sometimes. Sometimes it's way too dark to see if you're missing something in a room. Sometimes the designs of the levels wasn't even thought through. This room, for example, why can I see nothing through this window? And why is there light coming through the ceiling here? So, all things considered, this game is bad. It looks bad, it handles bad, the puzzles are bad, and the level structure is inconsistent. I cannot recommend this game to anyone. And that is why for my final verdict, I give this game a 2 out of 10. And I'm not giving it a 1 out of 10 because the first level is free, so you can first experience yourself how shit this game is before you're as stupid as I and buy all the DLC. So I'm now directing this talk to the developers of this game, 𝐉𝐻𝐶. 𝐉𝐻𝐶, this was a bad game. But this genre has so much potential, and I just know that there are good escape room games out there. So please, help me here. Help me to find a nice... Oh, hey, I see you've made some more escape room games. Let's see if they look a bit better. Shit. Well, that was a very disappointing experience, but anyway. Please let me know down below in the comments if you know any good escape room games. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, that really helps me out a lot. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.